At 9 o'clock, it is 9 degrees. On our way to a high of 24 today, partly cloudy down to 7 tonight. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Adam Roberts. A school bus flipping over on its side this morning near 16th and Wilbur on the city's south side in Milwaukee. At least one other vehicle involved in the crash. The medical examiner not called to the scene. However, it remains unclear how many people were involved and if there are any injuries. The WIAA updating its policy and banning transgender athletes from competing in girls' sports.
Female at birth will be allowed to participate in girls' sports. The policy indicates that a student whose sex is assigned male at birth may practice in a girls' sport. However, earlier this month, President Trump signed an executive order allowing the federal government wide latitude to pull federal funding from entities that deprive women and girls of fair athletic competitions. The NCAA is also changing its policy for transgender athletes. Greg Matzik, WTMJ News.
And WIAA Executive Director Stephanie Hauser will join WTMJ's Political Power Hour. That's coming up in about 6 minutes. 133 years of education at Northland College in northern Wisconsin coming to an end this spring. The school announcing the closure of the campus Wednesday. This after declaring financial emergency in April and raising $6 million to try and keep the college open under a reduced major total of 9. Despite the measures, the board says the college has, quote, no sustainable path forward. The interim president says coursework will continue and the commencement ceremony will go on as scheduled in May. Overseas, Hamas today releasing the bodies of hostages killed after the October 7th attack. ABC's Lama Hassan.
A somber and emotional day in Israel as the bodies of 4 Israelis, including the youngest and one of the oldest hostages taken captive by Hamas during the horrific attacks on October 7th in 2023, have now been returned to Israel in coffins. Hamas identifying them as Shiri Bibas and her 2 young sons, Kafir and Ariel, aged just 9 months and 4 years when they were abducted from kibbutz near Oz.
Hamas has promised to release 6 living hostages this weekend. Thousands of IRS employees receiving pink slips starting today. CBS's Jason Brooks.
The Internal Revenue Service is getting hit with massive cuts right in the middle of tax filing season, with more than 6,000 employees expected to be terminated as part of the current wave of job cuts across federal government agencies as President Trump tasks Elon Musk and Doge to slash government spending. CBS has learned that more than half of the cuts are probationary employees who've been at the IRS for less than a year, with probationary workers not deemed as critical to the filing season. There could be more terminations at the IRS, with the current cuts only focused on a single agency department.
The IRS last reported around 83,000 full-time employees in 2023. Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Not a great start to the day for the big three. Right now, the Dow is down nearly 400 points, sitting at 44,227. The NASDAQ off 216 at 19,840. And the S&P 500, after a couple days of record gains, they are now down 48 points at 6,096. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. The Four Nations Face-Off hits the championship game tonight. We'll have that and the roads, plus your 5-day forecast next. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:04.
For people with disabilities, an opportunity can make all the difference. Get help navigating the transition into adulthood, employment, housing, healthcare, and more with Thinkability Wisconsin, a resource hub that empowers people with disabilities.
So this job makes me feel very confident. My goal is always to grow myself and learn new things.
Live life to the fullest. It all starts when you say yes. Contact a Thinkability Navigator to get help at thinkabilitywi.org.
Hey Bucks fans, it's Justin Garcia from the Bucks Radio Network, here to tell you about the launch of the Bucks Central podcast feed. Everything Bucks, on demand, in one spot. From sideline to sideline, hear all the ankle-breaking, rim-rattling, and twine-tingling highlights, exclusive interviews, and more. Subscribe to the Bucks Central podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts. All the Bucks content your heart desires in one spot. Check out the Bucks Central podcast feed.
Grab your to-do list and head to Fleet Farm for Project Days, happening now through the 26th. Carhartt fans get a free $20 gift card with every $100 worth of Carhartt gear. Good on your next Fleet Farm purchase. Sprout Sweet Mix for horses and livestock is just $8.99 a bag. And save $50 on a Milwaukee M18 Compact Brushless Drill Driver Kit, now only $149. And save big on Milwaukee tools during Milwaukee Deal Days, February 20th through the 26th at Fleet Farm.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Time now for a WTMJ sports update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. The Bucks return to action from the All-Star break tonight at home facing the Clippers. Both Giannis and Damian Lillard listed officially as questionable by the team to play tonight. Giannis saying he's taking a long-term approach to his healing process.
One of my goals is to be available for the playoffs. Obviously, we are 30 games away. It's a long time. But at the end of the day, my main focus is to take care of my body, be smart.
Coverage from Fiserv tonight starts with Bucks shoot around at 6 here on your home of the Bucks, WTMJ. And from Hockey Night in Canada to Hockey Night in America this evening in Boston, the final of the Four Nations face-off. Team USA and Team Canada meet in a rematch from last Saturday's 3-1 American victory. That game, by the way, featuring 3 fights in the first 10 seconds. Let's check the roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Some slowdowns right now. 94 east about 76th Street through the stadium to 35th. You'll be tapping the brakes and adding just a couple extra minutes on your ride from Highway 16 into downtown right now. That's sitting at about 18 minutes. On 94, we got a broken down vehicle on the exit from the freeway to Ryan Road heading south. That is out of the way of traffic. Couple of the broken down vehicles, one on 4145 North beyond the Silver Spring ramp, and another one further up 4145 North near Landon Road. As far as your drive times otherwise, you're looking pretty good this morning. And your WTMJ forecast for today, mostly cloudy, maybe an off chance for some flurries, though the radar right now looks pretty dry across southeast Wisconsin. Partly cloudy by this afternoon with a high of 24. Partly cloudy then tonight with a low down to 7. Sun, 27 Friday, 28 Saturday, mostly cloudy, above freezing Sunday, 36. How about this for Monday? Slight rain chance. Mostly cloudy and a high of 42. Right now in Madison, sunny and 10 degrees. Green Bay, some clouds and 17. Waukesha checking in sunny and 9 above. And in Milwaukee, mostly sunny conditions and 12 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 9:08.
Good morning, Wisconsin. So let's pour that coffee and talk to some experts about what's going on in Milwaukee, Madison, Washington, and beyond. Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue in beautiful downtown Milwaukee. It's the Political Power Hour on WTMJ. Here's your host, Steve Scaffidi.
Should we talk about the government?
I always say yes to that question. Welcome, everybody. Thursday's program. I'm going to get right to it. Got a great guest. She is the first woman to lead the WIAA. Last time I checked, that's Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletics Association, right?
Still is.
It still is. Stephanie Hauser, welcome.
Thanks so much for having me, Steve. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we had a chance to talk before the show. I always love when I learn something from a guest, and I learned something, and this is sort of a good starting off point for our conversation. You are an independent sort of private organization. I assumed incorrectly, which I'm glad we had the conversation, that you were tied to like the Department of Education, which is sort of the situation in some other places. But that's not true. You are separate.
You are correct. And that is probably one of the most misunderstood things about the WIA. It's a private association. Private business takes zero state or federal tax dollars. 85% of our revenue is driven by ticket sales for those state championship events.
And all the member school districts and schools, right?
Absolutely.
How many do you have?
513 private and public schools.
That's amazing. And how long has the WIAA been in existence?
I believe this is the 129th year of the association. Fun fact, the WIAA is the oldest established state athletic association for high schools in the nation.
Well, how about that? I've learned two things today already, and we're only in the first couple of minutes.
Let's go. Let's keep it rolling.
I want to spend the first segment talking about some of the big stories that we hear. Now, the one that came out, I think it was, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong, the federal government has sort of instituted a policy related to transgender students and sports. You have sort of clarified your policy. Can you lay it out for everybody who's listening what that policy does and how it matches, if it completely matches the federal policy?
Sure. The WIA has had a transgender policy since 2013. So for the last 12 years, the policy has existed, and it was voted on by the elected members of the WIA Board of Control, which are school administrators from across the state of Wisconsin. Until the executive order was executed a few weeks ago, that was serving the membership sufficiently. However, we desire to be in compliance with the federal government. And so therefore the board did take a vote yesterday to come into compliance, and they replaced our old policy with a revised policy, which does match what the president has signed into order.
Maybe you know, maybe you don't know. Have you done something like that previously where the federal government said, this is the policy that we would like all of the states and all of the, the organizations to follow? Have you done that something similar before?
To my knowledge, it hasn't been done with a federal level order, but there has been state legislator that has enacted new pieces of information to our Constitution, such as homeschool eligibility. That was in recent years where a piece of state legislation said that homeschool students could indeed play on their high school sports teams. So that was something that we adopted as a membership due to that state law.
I know that there's been a lot of attention and media focus on a recent story. I know that you can't necessarily talk about things specifically when they're in courtrooms across the state, and certainly this would fall into that. But I want to talk about how the WIAA, your policy, reflects the issue of students transferring from school to school, and how maybe this story sort of, we're talking about the Baraboo story here, I believe is Baraboo, right? How that plays into it.
Steve, as you know, I can't speak about something specifically. A student situation is confidential, and so that's not something I would ever speak about publicly, but certainly always happy to talk about the WIA eligibility rules. It's one of the things that makes high school athletics unique and different from college, different from club sports. There are rules. There are rules of eligibility, rules of transfer. The intention is that your teams are reflective of those true home teams rather than a club team. And so the membership does vote rules of eligibility into place at their annual meeting once each year. We've made recent changes to that,
Can you describe some of the changes you've made?
Certainly. About 6 years ago, the membership expanded the transfer rule, allowing you to have a one-time free transfer after your freshman year. So regardless of a move of your parents, a relocation of your residence, you could make one free transfer. The membership is actually entertaining a conversation about expanding that for next year. So there is a nimbleness to the world around us. Certainly, we bring those forth. The membership talk about them all year long, and then would bring those forth at an annual meeting, which all 513 member schools get a vote.
Does it get tricky when someone comes from maybe a school that doesn't have sports and then is going to a school that has sports? Does that factor in at all? Is there a nuance there?
The membership rules are very clear. In fact, you just hit on one piece of an eligibility rule that did change a few years ago, and that is if a student athlete has not participated in any WIA sports at a previous school and they transfer regardless of their year, regardless of their residence, they can participate immediately.
They can participate.
And that was something that was changed just a few years ago.
I'm going to get to open records because there's a lot of attention on that subject, and I learned something in our pre-show conversation about that as well. When you think about the WIAA and the power you wield across the state when it comes to sports and students and athletes and school districts, is there, I don't want to say misconception, but is there sort of a belief that you have too much power? Do you get what I'm saying? That you have too much power in these decisions and maybe the state should step in. Do you ever hear that conversation?
Certainly, I've heard that before.
That's why I asked.
Someone has to make the rules and someone has to uphold the rules. And some days that is easier than other days, no doubt about it. If there were no rules, there would simply be chaos. It would look like club sports. Again, it's what makes education-based athletic unique because there are rules and regulations. Someone has to do that job. Again, back to the open records piece, our membership is consisted of schools themselves. Our schools, our 513 private and public member schools, have access to all of the information they want because they belong to this private and voluntary association. It's accessible to them. They are members.
What do you make of the legislature and others, private organizations, those who get involved in looking at the politics of everything nowadays, that say these should all be open records because these are public school districts? What do you think on that?
Well, first of all, they're not all public schools.
Yeah, some are private.
16% are private schools. And the second piece I go back to is that it's a private association that takes no state dollars, no federal dollars. How would that be any different than a private business that's personally owned, a church, other entities that don't take federal and state tax dollars?
Just to clarify the point, and then we got to get to break here. We got lots more to talk about with Stephanie Hauser from the WIAA. She's executive director. How long have you been executive director?
This is year number 4.
Good. And how's that going?
It's been great. Really, it is. I am honored and humbled to do this job, and I would say 99% of the days are phenomenal.
That's pretty good.
Love it.
I don't
passionate about it. It's fun.
I don't go higher than 85, maybe 80 some days, maybe less than that. Depends how the week goes. Let me do this. I'll take a break. We got lots more to get to with our guest, Stephanie Hauser, WIAA Executive Director. You are listening, of course, to 620, the Political Power Hour, WTMJ.
So close you can smell the rubber on their shoes. Okay, maybe not that close, but as close as you can get. Bucks Insiders on Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Here's a pass inside to Giannis. Giannis guides it through as he took the feed from Lillard, his second assist to Giannis.
It's Bucks Insiders every Thursday at 12:35. Sponsored by Best Electric and Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
I'm Tony Drake from Drake & Associates. Taxes in retirement could take a bigger bite out of your savings than ever before. With a rising tax environment, many retirees are worried about running out of money. At Drake & Associates, we understand those fears, and we're here to help you feel more confident about your retirement. That's why we're offering a free retirement toolkit and a copy of my book, Get Retirement Ready, to help you take control of your financial future. Don't let rising taxes catch you off guard. Text TAX to 414-897-9522 to claim your free resources. That's TAX to 414-897-9522.
Drake & Associates is an independent investment advisory firm that offers different investment vehicles. All insurance products are backed by the issuing insurance company. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only.
Hey, WTMJ's John Merck here for Vita Hearing Care. Join them at their Sounds of Love event happening in February at both locations in Waterford and Mount Pleasant. You can test drive a set of Vista hearing aids for free. Check out the hearing aids they gave me. It's in person. It's friendly. It's going to be fun. There will be refreshments, and there's no obligation. Check them out today. Take care of your health. It's VitaHearingCare.com. Start there. You can book your appointment. VitaHearingCare.com. It's the Sounds of Love event in February at Vita Hearing Care. The teams I trust are at Vita.
Thanks for tuning in on this Thursday edition. This week is flying by. Easy for me to say I was on vacation all last week in the beautiful Bahamas, which if you've never been, if you have the opportunity, go. Especially if you're a cigar smoker. I toured 2 cigar factories. Absolutely enjoyed the heck out of it. All right, that's not what we're talking about today. Stephanie Hauser, have you ever smoked a cigar? You probably have.
But I did go to the Bahamas, and it was during COVID, and it was not that fun.
Oh, that would be the worst time to go to the Bahamas because you want to have nothing on your face and probably just wearing a swimsuit because that's the way you enjoy it. All right, a little bit more on open records. The battle seems to be, and maybe I didn't make the case, at least the way I'm trying to understand the case, is because in some school district, it's public money. Therefore, there should be some right to see those records. I guess that's the argument that people are making. What do you think about that? I mean, in some ways, they already have access because they can ask the school district.
Correct.
Yes.
The public schools do. They do have to give their open records, when asked.
So is it primarily a private school attention? Is that what they're sort of focusing on? We should also be able to. I'm speaking for the people that are angry about it. Should we be able to access those as well? But you already answered the question, private organization.
And I've had that conversation with people who are upset about it, is what is it that you're looking for? Because your local member school will have that and can get that. So again, we are open to having those conversations. In fact, some of those hard conversations I've had, we've actually changed a few things that we've done. We've done some newsletters now. That's something we didn't used to do. We have publicized more of our meetings on our website. We've shared feedback from different meetings that the coaches have had and such on our website.
Are your meetings open or closed with your, I think you said 20-member group?
It's an 11-member elected board of control.
Okay.
We have 20 employees in the WIA.
Oh, that's what you
yes.
said. So is it those open or closed meetings?
The meetings are closed, but they are open to membership.
Got it. Okay. I want to talk about some of the cool things that WIA is doing, because you and I were talking before the show. We're joined by Stephanie Hauser, the executive director of the WIAA. It's tournament time, right? We got basketball stuff happening. What else is going on? Tell me about some of the stuff you're working on.
We are headed into our state championships this weekend right here in southeast Wisconsin, kicking off with boys swim and dive down at Waukesha South High School. So we are fast and furious for the next 5 to 6 weeks. So many kids are going to be highlighted. It's truly the best part of the job when you watch these kids and these coaches and the communities just come out in full force. High school athletics really has an impact on that school community and the greater community. You know, from the Oak Creek days, you know what an impact the Oak Creek athletics has had on your community. And so we look forward to that. We invite those. If you'd like to come on down, you just let me know. We'll get you some credentials. You come join us at the state championships. And it's a celebratory time. One of the pieces we've added to that this year, kicked it off, we're really excited about, is the student athlete leadership team.
Tell me what that is.
27 kids from across the state of Wisconsin that were selected to represent the student voice of this high school athlete. One of their primary roles and responsibilities is come to those state championships. We immerse them in every piece of the state championship. They'll go back to the broadcast crew and they'll check out all pieces of the broadcast, the behind the scenes, the on the court interviews, the color, the camera work. We'll take them to the events manager. We'll take them to the business bureau, CVB, and have them understand what this economic impact on a city has, the WIA tournament brings. So they get to see all pieces of it and learn all about it. It's been spectacular to see these young kids get so excited.
How is that ability determined? Like, I would imagine that's like a thing that kids want to do. Is there like a list a place you got to go, or where do you find out?
This was our inaugural year, and we had 300 applications.
Yeah, I figured.
It was pretty popular. There are about, 16 students who are seniors this year that we will be replacing, and we just opened up the applications and advertised this week for replacements for those 16 kids who will be graduating.
All right, so everybody knows the WIAA, and the organization has been around for a long time, and we all know sports. This is a question about sports in general. I asked you this before when we were sitting outside. Do we focus too much? I mean, education is a big story, right? It's a big thing that we all have to care about. We all pay into the school districts that we are part of. Do we focus too much on sports now in the educational environment? You made a great case. I want you to make it about what the definition of sports is really about.
So I'd say, first of all, you might be asking the wrong person, or maybe you're asking the right person, because sports has changed my life. It's molded me to be the person that I am. And I think...
How so?
The leadership skills, being a part of a team and understanding that no matter what your role is, there's value in that. Looking at mentors who have led me and taught me how to be confident in myself, how to be articulate and communicate, not only when you're happy about something, but also when you have concerns. And truly, it molds people's lives. And for that part, I would say no. There's not too much emphasis placed on it because it's a way to teach life skills with really no great stakes. So you lose a high school basketball game. It's not a mortgage on the line. It's not a job on the line. You get to learn from succeeding and failing about how to live your life.
Still hurts.
Oh, it still hurts. I'm not condoning losing.
All right. This is not real. I'm going to sort of ask you one that's outside of your sort of expertise, but one of the criticisms I see, and I can see it on the text line, if you want to weigh in, 855-616-1620, Saturday Unlimited, WTMJ Talking text line. Too much of our educational resources go to sports infrastructure. And there's, you look outside the state of Wisconsin, go to Texas. You want to see, they have football stadiums that are better than some of our universities. That sort of investment, I know it's not your thing, but that's, I think, what drives some of this. There's too much going into that part of sports.
I would challenge any listeners to ask their local school district to show them their budget. And I would tell you that probably they will find that their athletic budget, all things included, transportation, coaching salaries, officials' fees is probably less than 1% of their overall school district budget. So I would tell you it's probably one of the best bargains at the high school level.
My attorney friend Matt O'Neill would say, asked and answered. Good job. Stephanie Hauser, my guest. I have a personal pet peeve about the number of divisions or whatever you call them in the WIAA, which drives me nuts. Texas says basically the same thing. Texas high schools have 6 divisions. Why do we have 7? We're going to get to that answer from Stephanie Hauser after this on 620 WTMJ.
Are we sure they aren't named after nail clippers?
How often do you cut your toenails?
I would say every 2.5 to 8 weeks.
Because they sure are experts at trimming down expectations. The Clippers come to Milwaukee to take on the Bucks.
He's now just 4 of 11. How about Kuzma the other way? Flushes it through, bringing the Thunder with a one-hand slam down the lane.
Our Bucks radio game day coverage starts tonight at 6:30. We are the home of the Bucks. WTMJ.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. When you're a client of Annex, I am. Help is only a visit or a quick phone call away. No one's the same, right? Annex gets that. Some need assistance with their Social Security strategies. Others are curious about, like I was, my 401k options. Annex handles annuity reviews along with pension analysis. It's about you, not commissions. That's why Annex is a fee-only fiduciary with a team that includes, and I've met all these folks, CFPs, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, wealth strategists, and attorneys. They make decisions every day for you. There are simple things like deciding what to have for lunch. That's an easy one. Then there's the big decisions. When to take Social Security. What does my tax burden look like? Or are my investments overlapping and inefficient? On the way to retirement, there are many decisions to make, and it's easy to miss some. It's time to talk with Annex Wealth Management to button things up, take action, know the difference. Start at annexwealth.com.
If you're living with joint pain in your shoulders, hips, elbows, and knees, and you have Medicare or Medicaid insurance, coming to Rejuvenex to solve your pain problems is something you should strongly consider. First off, because our FDA-approved pain treatments have been shown in many cases to be highly effective at reducing inflammation and substantially alleviating pain. Secondly, Medicare and Medicaid cover Rejuvenex treatments, so your cost could be nothing, or next to nothing at all. Chronic pain will only worsen with age. This leads to a far more compromised lifestyle, depression, and soon they start talking surgery. And then what? You have to get in front of arthritis and chronic pain, because the sooner you do, by letting us begin to calm those pain points, the better. I'm Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas, and we can alleviate your pain so you can rejuvenate your life.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Go to Rejuvenex.com to request your free pain evaluation.
Hey, John Mercure here for Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning. My reverse osmosis system in my house is fantastic. The water I drink, the water we feed the dogs, the water we cook with is crisp, clean, and clear thanks to Guthrie and Fry's RO system. It's the best in the business. It's affordable, it's effective, and you'll feel a lot better. It's all about the science. They know at Guthrie and Fry that better water makes a big difference. Southeast Wisconsin's #1 choice and my choice is Guthrie and Fry Water Conditioning.
Better water makes a big difference. Guthrie and Fry.
Oh, I wish I had more time. We're going to have Stephanie Hauser on the podcast because there's so much to talk about. And I appreciate you coming in and having this conversation. This is a personal pet peeve. I think we have too many divisions in Wisconsin sports. Why is that? I mean, I understand it's based on enrollment, right?
Well, you started the show with asking me what is the most common misconception about WIA, and I told you, we're a not-for-profit, private business, no federal, state tax dollars. Number 2, the process, the rulemaking process. So we talked about constitutional changes and the fact that the annual meeting, which is 513 member schools, it's broadcast publicly. Anybody can watch that. The other route is when we want to talk about adding a division. That goes through coaches advisory, sports advisory, advisory council, and finally to the board of control to make that decision. Those are all elected positions. And so truly, it's a membership-driven process. If you think there are too many divisions, you need to let your local high school know that you think there are too many.
I've said this, they don't listen to me. You know that.
Stephanie Hauser doesn't get a vote on those things. Again, a third misconception.
You're like most mayors. We don't vote either.
Very true.
Not that I'm a mayor anymore. A lot of people just asking about some of the great things about WIA. And one of the things that popped up a lot in the text line, we only have like 10 seconds. How do people find out about the WIA? More about the organization.
I would say go to the website and click on the About WIAA tab. Start there.
thanks for coming in, Stephanie Hauser. We're going to do this in an expanded format because there's so many questions I want to ask you. And I said if you had questions, send them to the text line. I will try to forward any questions that I think that are relevant and good for the conversation, expanding the conversation to Stephanie at WIAA. We all talk about it. She came in and talked about it with all of you. All right, we have local news. Before we get to any of that, here's now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Economists are beginning to ponder the impact the Trump layoffs in the federal government are having. Today, the Commerce Department released weekly jobs numbers. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
In the week leading up to February 15th, an estimated 219,000 out-of-work Americans filed their initial claims for state unemployment benefits. That's 5,000 more than the previous week. With the White House planning to slash more than 2 million workers from federal payrolls, the next 2 weeks could see a spike in filings by people who depend on government funding or contracts.
The Agriculture Department's the latest government agency scrambling to rehire several workers fired as a part of DOGE. Some of those employees were involved in the government's response to the bird flu outbreak. Many of those working in the nation's nuclear programs also fired and then scrambled to be rehired. Hamas says it will stand by its pledge to release 6 leaving Israeli hostages this weekend. Overnight, the bodies of 4 Israelis were handed over. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 9:31. I'm Adam Roberts. Northland College announcing their closure after this spring semester. This despite several drastic measures to keep the school forward, including reducing their major count down to 9. Enrollment at the school is about 300 students at the start of this academic year. Officials say despite those cuts, the college, quote, has no reasonable path forward. The school has around 100 students that will make up its final graduation class this May. A former Wisconsin Lutheran high school teacher faces sex crime charges. 35-year-old Justin Liepert of Waukesha was working at the school when the criminal complaint alleges he engaged in sex acts with a 16-year-old male student beginning in February of 2024. Liepert is in custody on $5,000 bond. And a road project on Milwaukee's lakefront could soon get a big funding boost. The Lakefront Gateway project at Lincoln Memorial in East Michigan in line to request over $16 million in additional funding. This according to the Department of City Development. This Milwaukee Business Journal reports bids for the project would go out in late winter or early spring, with construction expected to be completed by the end of 2026. Time now for news about your money, the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow down 406 points this hour at 44,221. The NASDAQ is off 134 at 19,923. And the S&P 500 down 34 points this hour at 6,110. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. More details at annexwealth.com. Let's check the roads. Your WTMJ Johnson & Sons Paving. Time saver traffic. Still have those 3 broken down vehicles. One on 94 South on the exit to Bryan Road. One on 4145 North near the Silver Spring ramp. And one further up 4145 near the Lannon Road ramp. As far as drive times, you're looking good this hour. No major incidents or delays. And your WTMJ forecast, mostly cloudy, turning mostly sunny today with a high of 24, partly cloudy down to 7 tonight. Sunny skies 27 for your Friday, 28 partly cloudy Saturday, above freezing 36 on Sunday, and Monday slight rain chance, otherwise mostly cloudy, and a high of 42 degrees. Right now in the Wisconsin Dells, it is a balmy 10 above zero. In Brookfield, a sunny 11, and in Milwaukee, sunny skies and 14 degrees. I'm Adam Roberts. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 9:33.
Here at Rich Lawns, we offer both comfort service and expert service.
Our comfort service comes with movie theater popcorn, hot gourmet coffee, upfront pricing, on-time scheduling, plus anything else we can do to keep you comfortable.
Put that on top of honest service from the most friendliest, hard-working people you'll ever meet inside a tire and service center, and well, we'd like to believe we're on the right track to meeting your expectations.
But when your check engine light, tire light, or any other light screams, "Service me," well, that means you're due for our other type of service.
Our expert service. Tires, brakes, belts, mufflers, transmissions, and even engine repair.
Come on into Richlands and put our expert service to the test.
And while you're relaxing, enjoy our comfort services too. I'm Brett Matchke with Richlands, your
due for service.
Since 1964, we've changed your tires and so much more. Richlands Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richlands.
Hey, there's free pizza today at the amazing Mind Chef restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the free pizza days. Seriously, it's free. Coaches, managers, business owners, listen up. Check this out. Every Thursday, when you buy one pizza, you get a second pizza free. Buy 2, get 2 free. Buy 10, get 10 free. You get it. Bring in your basketball, wrestling, hockey, gymnastics, volleyball team, or your club organization for free pizza after your practice or game. Your players are going to love that huge game room. It's super affordable team bonding. Bring in pizza today for your loyal employees. Half those pizzas are free. The Mine Shaft in beautiful downtown Hartford and Oshkosh near the EAA. It's right off the interstate. Tons of seating, tons of close parking. Buy one pizza today, get one free. That's tons of value. Plenty to take home for tomorrow. Order now and pick it up shortly or dine in. A reminder, the Friday all-you-can-eat fish fry is just $7.99. Whoa, that's great value. Walk in today for your free Thursday pizza. MineshaftRestaurant.com.
Busy hour of the program today. Political Power Hour is the actual name of the program. I'm Steve Scaffidi, along with my friend, local attorney Matt O'Neill from Fox O'Neill and Shannon. All right, let's get right to it. I was watching coverage on either CNN or Fox yesterday about this Eric Adams case in New York. Basically, the Department of Justice, the new Department of Justice under President Donald Trump, basically says, nah, we're not going to go after him for things that really seem like they're like obvious. What's your take on this stuff? Because this seems like is it Latin, quid pro quo?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's what it seems like.
And that's how it reads. It's remarkable, unusual, unfathomable, and unheard of for the Department of Justice to give a directive to prosecutors with an active prosecution with absolute evidence of crimes that they can prove based on evidence they've put together to dismiss it, and to do it not on the merits, but to do it because they say the subject of the investigation needs to further their own policy. That is amazing and unbelievable. So
I listened to a ton of these legal commentators, and a lot of these people came out of very high-level positions, whether they were appointed by previous presidents or certainly throughout the legal system. And to a person, I think they said, if you allow this to happen, where they're basically allowing people to get away with, again, I guess it's allegedly until you're convicted, crimes, what's stopping anybody from doing whatever they want? And I guess that's, from a layman's perspective, is the danger here. I don't want unchecked power. I don't want people just doing whatever they want, especially illegal things, because they can. And that seems like what the concern is here, at least from legal scholars.
Well, the message it sends to public officials, at least, is one way to protect yourself if you are otherwise compromised by your past conduct would be to curry favor with the administration and do their bidding. Because what is expressly set forth in the documents that are public documents, the request by Emil Bowe from the Department of Justice that it be dismissed, and in arguments made in court yesterday, it was expressed that we need this mayor to do and enact our policies, and this prosecution is impairing that. So the message is, if you want to keep yourself clean, if you have otherwise skeletons in your closet, you do what they tell you to do.
So I guess again, from a layman's perspective, recourse here. From a public's perspective, if this is just going to be allowed to happen, who steps in and checks this behavior?
Well, the first check, there's actually two checks for Eric Adams in specifically. The governor of New York has this incredible, extraordinary power that nobody's tried to invoke since FDR to actually remove a mayor for purposes where it's dire. I forget how it takes the place of a recall that we have here in Wisconsin. But the governor doesn't want to exercise that, but he's up for re-election. There's a primary in April. So
She's up for re-election.
No, he is. Eric Adams.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about the governor.
He's coming up for re-election, and so that's where we are. I think he will lose.
Yeah, probably. But again, you never know in the current culture of politics. Ultimately, now with this decision to sort of step back from some of these prosecutions, what do you think? This is sort of a general question. What is the DOJ going to be focused on in the next year or two, do you think?
I can't answer that. Hopefully they remain focused on prosecuting crimes that occur.
How independent can they be, though?
I don't think they can be independent at all. The back and forth between Deputy Attorney General Bove and the resigned acting U.S. Attorney in New York, Daniel Sassoon, was amazing. And it basically was, you're going to do what we direct you to do. And when she said, I can't, and here's why, and it's aside from my oath, they said, you're fired, we accept your resignation, and you will be investigated. I mean, that sends the clearest message that can be sent to every acting U.S. attorney in every state in the country. You better get in line on these issues.
Yeah, chilling effect.
I think the DOJ will continue to prosecute ordinary crimes. You know, they do a ton of real good work keeping us safe and bringing in drug rings and things like that. But on the political spectrum, I think it's all going to be at the direction of the administration.
We're talking to Matt O'Neill from Fox O'Neill and Shannon in Milwaukee. After the break, I want to get to this because we've seen thousands of these buyouts, federal offices, individuals. I've listened to some of these testimonials. Some of them are heartbreaking. Essentially, we're offered this buyout thing. Some people just got outright fired. We want to talk about, since we're talking to you, the status and legality of these things. And now we're talking, some of these departments have 10,000 people in them. We'll discuss that with Matt O'Neill after this on 620 WTMJ.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them. They have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go. And that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hey, this is WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. I love talking about Milwaukee weight loss because they've already changed my life. I've lost 28 pounds already in about 5 weeks. It's the secret to losing about 1 pound of fat every day. Their doctors have developed easy-to-follow weight loss program. Helps you lose weight fast, naturally, safely, and with no drugs or injections with the risk of those serious side effects, no prepackaged meals or bars or shakes. If you don't want to exercise, you don't have to. I just walk. Their program helps reset your metabolism so you can keep the weight off for good with a coach that's always available for your ongoing support. Costs this program half as much. Works up to twice as fast as most of the other programs. Go to MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Schedule your free consultation. Most patients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. Look at me, 28 pounds, 5 weeks in. I'm a success story. You can be too. It's crazy to watch your body lose weight like that, but it feels good. I feel better than ever. Schedule your free consultation by calling, I'll go slow, 262-449-1180, 262-449-1180, or go online at MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. That's MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com. Results may vary.
Siding Unlimited, named the best window installers, not just here, but in the whole USA. Get the best. Siding Unlimited, 5-time winner as America's best window installer. For windows you call Siding Unlimited first and directly. SidingUnlimited.com.
Save on the best quality furniture and mattresses during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture. With major discounts from our premier suppliers, you will save big bucks on top brands like Bradenton Young, made in the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains. Bradenton Young is known for its fine quality leather upholstery. Yours brings you modern Scandinavian design recliners and sofas, ergonomically engineered for more hip and back support. Norwalk, with American roots that go back over 100 years, specializes in making furniture just for you. Choose the piece, style, fabric, or leather you want, and in just 35 days, we'll deliver your new sofa, chair, or sectional. In-stock or special orders are all sale priced. Need a little help putting it all together? At Ken Michaels Furniture, our design staff is ready to help you with your purchases. And it's free. Stop in today and save now during the President's Day sale at Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield, Greenfield, or downtown Milwaukee.
Talking a legal side of politics with my friend Matt O'Neill, local attorney, Fox O'Neill and Shannon. All right, I want to talk about the status and all of these and the legality of all these federal buyout offers that are going on across agencies. And some people, I don't know what the percentage is, but a lot of people have accepted these. I'm just concerned that, one, how does the president, I know he signed an executive order, but how does he have the authority when you start talking about money, because that's Congress's ability, right? That's their right to control the purse strings. How do they have the right to do that? the legal side of these things, because all we hear about is the headlines.
Right. And they structured in a way that they try to make it legal. There are some concerns about its legality, though I doubt at the end anything will interfere with people actually getting paid through the end of September under this program. But the way they've structured it is they've said, hey, everybody's got to come back to work, right? And then they tell everybody, we're going to go through a bunch of furloughs. You may likely lose your job. But hey, here's this offer that if you accept what they call a deferred resignation program, you work through the end of February. You might be required to do a few things, but then you are exempt from the having to be in the office, and you are put on an extended administrative leave and paid through the end of the period. And there have been serious questions about the funding for these employees who will then no longer be providing services to our government and to us, comes from Congress. And that is only authorized through the end of March. And then we all know there's going to be a big budget fight. So what happens if not? And the answer, they actually have put out a memorandum, the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, and said, this is binding on us. That's what they claim. And so they've rebuffed that, and they've said legally, government's going to have to pay. We have the right to put you on administrative leave. That's a thorny question. They've got a theory for it, but it's not been tested in this context. And then they ask everybody. They say we will have you sign a deferred resignation agreement, which lays out and would, it seems, as written, bind the government to continue paying through September 30th. So they're just saying we'll sign a contract and bind ourselves.
I don't know the exact dollars we're talking about here, but I know it's thousands of people that have already accepted, and some are still considering, apparently, if that deadline hasn't passed. How are you? I understand that the raw number of employees, you save money just by downsizing, which I think a lot of people like me who love small government, done right, done effectively, makes sense. But when you just willy-nilly do this, and if you've offered them sort of incentive to leave, at some point, don't the numbers start to match up and equalize? I mean, how much are you actually saving when you get involved in, and also potentially, I didn't even factor this in, lawsuits?
Well, what's going to happen, so the numbers that I was able to find most recent were 80,000 employees out of the whole federal workforce, which is about 3%, accepted the program. That's not been confirmed by OMB, but that's what's being reported. And at least what's been projected is there's going to be another huge percentage that will then be furloughed and fired, consistent with whatever rules are in place, because they say that. That's how they'll get the next round of savings. But this one was, I think, just to get the ball rolling and to tell federal employees the clock is ticking, the bell is tolling, and it's going to come for you. Now they know.
I had this conversation with some of our other legal experts, Tom Kuzmanovich and Jim Santel, Mary Kuhnmensch, and others. I think we're sort of ushering in the era of lawsuits against the government or against government agencies or whatever. Do you agree with that?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
That's what I thought.
I looked at the lawsuit tracker last night. You know, there's about 5 of them out there that track all of the pending lawsuits against the executive orders and other actions by Elon Musk and the Doge people and everything else. And it is literally scores and scores of lawsuits. And here's a fun fact about these deferred resignations, Steve. In the template contract that says government's binding itself to do X and Y, there's a provision, paragraph 13, that says employee forever waives and will not pursue through any judicial, administrative, or other process any action against the agency based on, arising from, or related to employee's employment. So, and there's no carve out for this agreement. Okay, I write these all the time, and you have these waivers, and then there's always a carve-out except for a violation of this agreement. Not there. So there's a little poison pill in here. If they do decide to stiff these 80,000 people, they're going to come back and say, well, you can't sue us. You agreed you can't.
You know, I want to be fair because there's a lot of voters in this country that support Donald Trump. And I want to also reemphasize, I'm a big fan of small government, but there's always a process. And to protect yourself from legal action, you always want to follow like a smooth process, a well-detailed, chronicled, written-down process that allows you to do whatever you're going to do and make the arguments so that when you are sued or ends up in court, you can actually, defend yourself. I worry as, again, member of the general public, that we don't have a smooth process in place to do the things that they're trying to do. Does that make sense?
It does, and I think this is part of what they are trying to accomplish. And it's not a goal I share, but at least I understand that if one wants to make substantial changes in the way the country operates, and mind you, I don't agree with these changes, the approach they're taking is just smash, 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 yes, everybody's going to sue, but we'll win some, we'll lose some, and we will affect change that way.
Real quick before the break, I saw that the birthright citizenship case has sort of been put on hold at an appeals level. That case is going to go to the U.S. Supreme Court.
100%.
Any ideas on what they may say? I mean, it's always hard to guess, but to me, it seems like a no-brainer. The president, I don't think, has the power to change the Constitution.
That is correct. The president does not have the right to change the Constitution. It will be presented to the court when it gets there. The question will be, did the Supreme Court in 1868, when they actually first considered this issue, get it wrong? And remember, those folks were considering it within 30 years of the adoption of the amendment.
Right. Interesting times we live in. Matt O'Neill from Fox O'Neill and Shannon in Milwaukee. All right, after the break, talking about Supreme Courts, the Wisconsin Supreme Court race. We'll get Matt's thought on that and more after this on 620 WTMJ.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, we profile the average John or Jane Doe who had no idea when they got up one morning that they'd be saving a life, becoming everyday heroes. Olympic kite surfer Bruno Lobo.
I heard someone scream, and then I recognized that was someone drowning. I can use this sport to save a life, so yeah, this is my biggest trophy.
Everyday Hero, Thursdays at 6:40 on Wisconsin's Morning News, presented by Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living, transforming the culture of care.
Hey, this is WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Advent. I love talking about Advent because it changed my life. It can change yours as well. I was just talking about this earlier. Life-changing moments are important. I went to Advent, not as a spokesperson, as a customer and a client, because I was keeping my poor wife, Kathy, up all night because I snored. I don't snore anymore. My nose wasn't working properly. I went to Advent as a customer, 30-minute visit. They put me at ease, answered all my questions. They added in a really simple sleep study at home in my own bed. They determined my problem, sinuses and nasal passages in my breathing triangle. After a very short procedure, I'm back to breathing better than ever. This is like 5 years ago now. Still sleeping through all night. Last night, uninterrupted sleep. If that's your goal, and it should be, if you struggle like I used to, take the time to see how Advent can help you. To find out how breathing well and sleeping well can make your nights better, go to adventknows.com. Schedule an appointment today. I love saying this because it's true. Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
We are Outdoor Living Unlimited. We put cool stuff in your yard. Patios, decks, pergolas, outdoor kitchens, screen rooms, even in-ground pools. You dream it, we design it together, then Outdoor Living Unlimited installs it for you. OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
So how would I describe our people? I'd say the people we set out to hire have to be smart, hardworking, and honest. Honesty being paramount of the three. Because honesty breeds integrity, and when you have integrity, you won't let yourself do anything less than your best, and that's who we're looking for. Character counts here, and integrity matters. That's why it's easy for us to offer the industry's best lifetime workmanship warranty with every roof we sell. A rock-solid warranty like ours guarantees our reputation and assures your satisfaction. At Semper Fi, we do the right thing. We seize the moral high ground, and we hold it. And when you do that, you end up having a business that's going to last for generations. This is Brad Youngbluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi.
Are you ready to embark on a voyage like no other? At Fox World Travel, our specialty cruise desk creates unforgettable cruise experiences just for you. Explore the serene Mediterranean, the exotic Caribbean, or the breathtaking beauty of Alaska. We partner with top cruise lines including Celebrity, Holland America, Royal Caribbean, and Viking. Enjoy personalized itineraries, exclusive deals, and expert guidance. From booking to boarding, we manage all the details for a stress-free experience. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO, press 2, and mention code radio to start planning.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Now it's time for your closing arguments.
Always the fun way to end the Thursday legal edition of Political Power Hour. Thanks to my guest, Stephanie Hauser, by the way. And a lot of people asked about that conversation. We're going to make it available on the podcast, but we're also going to sit down, and she agreed to a long-form conversation on our Scaffidi podcast, so we'll do that as soon as we can. Matt O'Neill is in the building today and talking about the legal side of all of these political stories. You have the floor. Let's talk a little bit of Wisconsin Supreme Court, and then you can sort of end it the way you want to end it.
Well, About the Wisconsin Supreme Court, we have the election coming up on April 1st, and it is to fill Ann Walsh-Bradley's seat, who is retiring with dignity at the end of her term and allowing for an election, which I think is the right way to do it for these justices. And you have, on the one hand, Brad Schimmel, sitting Waukesha County Circuit Court judge, and you have Susan Crawford, who's a sitting Dane County Circuit judge. And they're both have good reputations as trial judges. I had a jury trial in front of Judge Schimmel last year, and he was excellent. Mm-hmm. He was excellent. On the political leanings, he is the conservative. Judge Crawford is the Democrat, the progressive, and I support Judge Crawford. But I have full respect for Brad Schimmel. He is a good and very capable jurist. But now you are going to see, and you are seeing, ads nonstop, and they are going to be ugly. They're going to be abusive. They're going to be, frankly, misleading, taking things out of context, being unfair, and they're on both sides. And the reason is there is absolutely no cap on the money that can be poured into this race on two ends. The independent spending has always been unlimited, and those rules were loosened up 15 years ago that say independent folks can get money, not disclose it, and do all these things. But also, a loophole was created about 7 years ago. It might have been 8 years ago, but it was at the end of the Scott Walker administration. They changed Chapter 11 to allow two things to be unlimited. One is contributions to political parties, and the second is political parties can contribute unlimited amounts to candidates for office. Those people can defend it and say it's all First Amendment speech is what it ends up. That's true. But what it's going to end up is we are just going to be blanketed. If you try to watch anything on television, you are going to learn about and see Brad Schimmel depicted as the devil and Judge Crawford depicted as the devil, and neither are the devil.
Great point, and I agree with almost everything you said. I think, actually, everything you said. One of the things that I have done, this is how real life impacts me. So I've seen already all these commercials, and we lived it through the presidential election. I don't watch live TV unless it's sports now. I watch zero live TV because here's the thing. I don't have to watch or listen to any of those commercials. And I know that some people pay attention to them. I think the number's less than 10%. And if you're influenced by that, well, knock yourself out. You're apparently learning something I'm not seeing in the commercial. But I think at this moment, they're not really serving anything other than the political parties and their willingness to just take in as much money as they can. And that's not a good thing, my opinion.
Oh, I think it's a horrible thing, the way the advertising has evolved over the years. And all the political people on both sides have concluded this is what works. I disagree with that, but that's what they absolutely have convinced themselves of. So every time you turn on any show, you're going to hear the dark music, and you know exactly what's coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a street. Okay. Now I know what's
it's just
happen.
the worst of the worst. And I hope at some point we understand that, and I hope also at some point the public understands what they're getting, and they're not being served. All right, Matt O'Neill, always great information. You always come with the facts and all the details. I love that about you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right, Political Power Hour for a Thursday. News is next. I think Eric Bilstow's going to do it, so you got a special treat there. Here we go.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
This is Chief Anti-Heartbreak Officer Brian Wickert. While national headlines talk about the inventory of homes for sale being a lot higher this year, that's still not the case in most of Wisconsin. The good news is that now, even in winter, AccuNet's experienced loan consultants are already helping many of our pre-approved home shoppers become homeowners and avoid the heartbreak of losing in a multi-offer